Hello everyone, and welcome to Cinema Kane's Cinema Reviews, or in this case, streaming reviews. Streaming TV show reviews, maybe I should say. I'm your host, as always, Cinema Kane. Few things have captured the pop culture landscape and the global landscape as much as Stranger Things over the last several years. So, today, we're going to take a look at the series as a whole. I know there are 4 seasons to go through, and while I may at some point do a season-by-season breakdown, today we're going to do an overall review of the show. I'm going to talk about why I feel like the show is as good as it is, why I feel like, in some cases, it does not deserve the flack that it gets, because believe it or not, there are some detractors out there, and why I think it is probably one of the best things on TV right now. So, to begin with, Stranger Things immediately hooked my attention because of its attention to detail with paying homage to the things that the creators loved. I mean, if you watch the seasons, you've got influences like John Carpenter. You got influences like Mad Max. You got it literally feels like if you were to take a little bit from every single major 80s film that ever came out, you'd eventually get Stranger Things, because you've got so much Steven Spielberg in there. You've got little nods and Easter eggs just hidden in the background to so many things. It's kind of ridiculous, the amount of things. There's a video on YouTube all about the various influences that the Duffer Brothers included through like seasons 1 through 3, I want to say. But I digress. Season 1 grabbed my attention, like I said, and the reason it grabbed my attention was because I immediately recognized that aesthetic that Spielberg was so famous for, where he had the group of kids going on an adventure on a bike, on their bikes. You know, that was E.T., that was the movie he produced, Goonies, that was other things that were Amblin-esque, like Joe Dante's Explorers, Fred Decker's The Monster Squad. The reason Stranger Things works the way that it works is because people in the 80s were already being influenced by each other. The filmmakers were. And because they were being influenced by each other, there was a lot of similarity in the work. Doesn't necessarily mean they were exact carbon copies, which is one of the things I wanted to bring up about the detractors of Stranger Things. There are, at least I've come across, comments about Stranger Things does nothing but rip off everything else. But here's the thing. Is it truly ripping something off when you've got an original story that simply has elements picked and chosen by the filmmakers to help elevate their original content, their original story? I don't really think so. I think that it simply says, oh, we're fans of this, we want to include it. And that's the thing. I mean, you know, season 2, probably one of my, I will say this, like, I love the entire show, but I do think that some seasons are stronger than others. Season 1 was great. Season 2 was good and should be my favorite season, simply because of the fact that they have our little Hawkins crew dress up as Ghostbusters, which is my favorite movie of all time. And the joke in season 2 about Mike and Lucas both wanting to be Vakeman. So funny. So funny. Love that joke. Season 2, though, to me, felt like the story wasn't nearly as strong as it was during the first season. I feel like the same could probably be said for aspects, not all of it, but aspects of season 3. I felt like were not thought out as much as they could have been. However, I still loved both of those seasons. It's like if season 1 is an A+ project, season 2 is an A- project, and season 3 is an A- project. However, season 4, which I watched over the summer, which is part of what prompted this review, was absolutely wonderful. It's their best season so far. It heightened everything that had already been included. It worked so well. The storytelling was great. The the cast was on their game. One of my favorite little jokes this season that I thought just worked perfectly was when they went to see Susie on their little side mission. I thought that was hysterical. Open the door, Mike gets a rubber arrow suction cup to his head. Thought that was great. The thing that works for me on this show is it just reminds me so much of the shows that I grew up with, or the movies that I grew up with. And that's why it works, is because you got people like me that grew up watching that show as little kids, or watching that stuff as little kids. And then you got mom and dad who actually lived through the 80s, who are drawn to it for that reason. And then you've got a current generation of kids that are drawn to it because the main cast is primarily made up of kids around their age. Now, I said that part of what prompted this was me watching season 4 over the summer. I also got my first subscriber and said, you know what, you're my first subscriber. What would you like for me to review? They immediately said Stranger Things. So, this review goes out to you, Cecilia. And thank you for your support. I hope you've enjoyed this review of Stranger Things. But, real quick, I just want to talk about the highly praised hero of Season 4, who I completely agree was not only a fan favorite, but definitely a favorite of mine. I have known many a metalhead over the years, and Eddie Munson somehow managed to encapsulate every single one of them that I had ever known. And not only should Joe Quinn be applauded for his portrayal of Eddie Munson, but I really do hope he shows back up in Stranger Things 5, because he is such a wonderfully performed character, and Joe Quinn did so well portraying him. I really do hope he comes back. And with that, this has been your Citizen Kane TV review, and I'll see you guys at the video store.